but you may be aware of a protest going on this weekend, which I think is important because I think a lot of people, you know, only focused on force the vote, and frankly, you're still
Right.
talking about it 8 months later. I was for it, by the way,
Right.
or the Medicare for All march that to me was a success. 56 cities across the country, without frankly any of the politicians promoting it.
Right.
But there are smaller scale protests going on as
Right.
well. So, can you tell me who is the politician you guys are protesting this weekend? Why is he specifically such a impediment to getting Medicare for all? And what do people need to know?
Yeah. So Richard Neal, he's head of the Ways and Means Commission, committee rather, for the House of Representatives. And so recently, Nancy Pelosi told him, kill the bill, basically. Do not bring a Medicare for all bill to the floor. So the idea is that we sent a letter to his house last week, telling him that we will be back if you don't, give into our demands, which is please put up Medicare for all on the floor. And so obviously we didn't hear anything. So I just bought my bus ticket yesterday, so I could actually go to the protest as well. To be outside his doorstep and say, listen, we're serious about this. We want this. We're going to try any and every avenue to bring Medicare for all. So it's not just focusing on, I know a lot of people are very passionate about the force the vote movement. It's over. So we need to think of new strategies, new ways to actually push the conversation for Medicare for all. That's the idea. The idea is to keep moving forward. Anything you can find that makes sense. This makes sense to us because obviously he was asked to not put it on the floor. So we're telling him to reconsider. Please, we're trying to bring a bunch of noise this weekend for that, and hopefully we're going to also protest other members of the Ways and Means committee as well. So he's just one of the piece of the pie, so to speak.
I think it's interesting because a lot of people, like on the top line, I mean, of course, if Biden isn't going to do it, it doesn't matter. Richard Neal, whomever,
Right.
if the president won't sign it, that's unfortunate. I still don't believe if it actually passed, which obviously is an uphill climb, he would veto it, but that's another story. But
Right.
I
No,
think a lot. I
we
think a
agree with
lot.
you too.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Yeah.
people focus on Biden or Pelosi or the understandable Democratic slime, but they don't really realize on the lower level it's people like Richard Neal, just from the structural congressional point of things, is really the main sources blocking this.
Right. No, absolutely. And we need to pressure everyone who is going to be a contributing factor to get Medicare for all. So I think that people need to, and one of the reasons why we picked Richard Neal, and so it's so easy to say, oh, Pelosi or Biden, there are other pieces to the puzzle. There are other people you can also protest to actually get them to your side and to actually pressure them and let them know, like, listen, we won't vote for you. We won't rally for you if you don't do this. So you need to go to our position. We're asking for Medicare for all. So we need to get you to be on this position. If you're not in this position, then face the consequences of us voting someone else into office.
The protest is tomorrow in
Mm-hmm.
Massachusetts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right outside Richard Neal's office. So, what are the demands specifically to Richard Neal, who is the chairman of the Oversight Committee, is very close, not Oversight, Ways and Means Committee, that tied at the hip with Speaker
Mm-hmm.
Pelosi. What are the specific demands right now for him?
We just want that House bill. We just want the bill on the floor. The HR 1976 bill. We just want that on the floor. We just want a hearing for that. So it's very similar to force the vote, but not quite, in the sense that that bill needs to get passed through the Ways and Means Committee. So we just want that hearing. So we just want to be heard. We want a hearing, and we want Richard Neal and other members of that committee to say whether and why won't they do it if you're not going to do it? Why is it now not the time? Why more people have to die because we have inadequate healthcare in this country. I don't see why there's a justifiable reason. And the fact that Nancy Pelosi went on record by telling him to kill that bill.
Right.
So it's very simple. Our demands or our asks are not like, radical, as some people would say. We just want to be on record that you did that or didn't do it. so that now we know where we are. And I feel that them not discussing the conversation just puts them where we know they are. They not talking about it means you don't want to do it. And if I know a lot of people, and I've spoken to some of my friends about this too, they don't understand that conversation. They feel like by not talking about it, they feel like there's a chance. And I was like, no, that's the opposite. The opposite is that by them not talking about it means they don't want to do it. You know, they're obfuscating the conversation because they want you to not have healthcare. Some people deserve it, and you don't, and that's the bottom line. But we know that. We just want them to go on record because, again, it gets more allies in the movement to keep pushing for healthcare. Because the idea is to grow the movement. You know, this is a tactic. You know, we're letting the cat out of the bag in that sense. We want people to see that they don't want to do it, so that it gives us more people on the street to keep pushing. Because there's a push campaign. We know that tomorrow Medicare for All is not going to get passed. We all know that. The idea is that we need to keep growing this movement and try other strategies. Hopefully, one day, sometime soon, that we can protest the donor class. You know, because we know that donors are the reason why politicians don't listen to our demands. You know, because they get tons of money from them. So hopefully, you know, that could be next.
Right.
Maybe a general strike.